Hello. Yes, it is I, Jason Winters, the former cover artist of YouTube, who decided to make a few videos on music before disappearing for 8 about-ish months, and then coming back and changing the content on the channel completely and revamping it. Today, I am making a video on the effects of sugar. Now, this current video stemmed from something I tried to create a week ago, which is supposed to be a video called going sugarless for a week. Now, what I wanted to do in here was, as mentioned, go cold turkey on sugar and experience the effects of it and report back to it every morning whenever I would go to bed, and then everything in between whenever I felt something could be learned. I lasted about 4 days. One of those days I had 16 grams of sugar, and I ended up falling out on day 5. So with that, I decided I wouldn't do this video because it was very, very challenging for me. But with my realization of quitting the video, I wanted to talk about a lot of the things that I found out throughout my journey in those 4 days. So to start it off, the cravings is something that was very prevalent when I was doing this. These cravings didn't just come on whenever I was eating. It would come on while I was during practice or while I was extremely tired at night. It happened when I was drinking water. It happened while I was eating a steak. It came at every time. They were pretty strong cravings for anything sugar-related, such as some ice cream, a muffin, a soda, or even just granulated sugar. I definitely didn't expect that, at least for them to come this hard, because I've done without sugar before, because I just had to do it to play one of my sports, because there was a weight limit, I was a few pounds over, so I thought, no big deal. I'm used to these cravings, I'm used to the effects of what happens with the cravings. This was something surreal to me. It was very out of the blue, and it was very strong. My body, in a sense, was depending on this sugary substance to give me nutrition, not only nutrition, but to give me focus, to let me move on past eating. I couldn't not think about it, at least for a few days. And once they finally, subsided a bit, it was very just mind-boggling to me to think that this substance could do this. It could alter my palate to want certain things and to think about certain things, to the extent of coming up at important-esque type times. But something else that I also found out was about my energy levels. As soon as day 1 started, I was not wanting to do it. I was tired throughout the whole day, and I thought, well, probably tired from practice. Day 2 rolls around. I sleep 9 hours. I normally sleep about 7. So for me to sleep 9 made me realize this isn't usual. It's not the weekend. What's going on? I woke up and everything was heavy. I was picking up my computer to go upstairs and go just turn on a podcast to make some breakfast, have it as background noise, and that thing, my very light computer, felt like it was 20 pounds. Then I eventually made it upstairs, and I was going to get my pans out of the cabinet. Taking them out felt like a brick. I went into the fridge, taking out my ingredients. It was odd, because that hadn't happened, at least in my memory, before. When I went to practice, however, I was fine. I could do the drills, I could lift the weights, I could do everything that my coaches asked me to do. But it was when I got home and after I was done, being busy, being in the mindset of my everyday drills, everyday practice, was when things started to just be very blah. I felt like I was putty and I was just like malleable. Like you could mold me and push me around, and I was weak and I just wanted to sit and I wanted to have nothing to do with this anymore. Now, that was very surprising. It was extremely unexpected. So, something else that I saw was how my emotions were affected. These were probably one of the few things that seemed to be affected in a good way, only because I saw myself being more open to listening, open to dialogue when my parents needed me to do something. I was overall pretty happy whenever I was around someone and ever someone needed help or just needed me to just, have a conversation with them for a while. I definitely was engaged, I was listening, I was ready to do things. So what I found out after I went back on day 5 and I went back to sugar, immediately I was short, I was agitated, and the littlest things made me want to punch a wall. And I wondered what's happening? What is going on with this? Like, where did this come from? Why did I all of a sudden become so angry? And I could only link it back to the fact that I am eating an overwhelming amount of sugar. Where is this coming from? Why is this happening? It it was very out of the blue, but also made sense. Because I knew where it was coming from, I kind of didn't want to admit it to myself that I knew where it was coming from. So something that I found out, because I decided to do some research before this, was that according to a article from Harvard, is that there is a lot of effects that come with sugar. There's a raise in blood pressure, and it becomes slower to digest a lot of foods because it's not, the added sugar at least is not natural, and it stays in for a while because it doesn't really know what to do. So it kind of just goes in to the bloodstream and adds that little bit of energy. And I also found that there was an impact on the heart. It says, and I quote, consuming too much added sugar can raise blood pressure and increase chronic inflammation, both of which are pathological pathways to heart disease. End quote. So after reading this, I was just thinking, it's a bit crazy what the added sugar can do. How excessive amounts of it can be fatal, or it can lead to something that can be fatal. So what I've realized throughout all of this is that there is a lot of issues for myself that revolve around sugar. The fact that I consume it so often causes it to, from what I've gathered, alter my mood and alter my emotion, alter my sleep. And it's definitely something that's, something I never really thought about. Something that's always been accessible to me, always been a part of my life, and something I never really thought about changing. So after looking through it and after being exposed to days without sugar and monitoring how I was feeling without it, I realized that there is so much that I didn't know and so much that I couldn't even imagine about the issue with eating all of the excessive amounts that I did. I'm seeing that there are a lot of negative effects, and I'm seeing that there is an issue that I kind of am drawn back to the need to eat it, and I subconsciously was telling myself throughout those whole 4 days that, oh, I can do it, but I'm going to just reward myself in the end with some sugar. I believe that there is a healthier way for me to do it, to eat the sugar, and I believe that I can definitely follow that. I believe I can cut down on the amounts of sugar that I eat and definitely go on that way in a healthier manner. I don't think it's healthy the way I do it, and I definitely want to change. I want to make something positive out of that video, even though I couldn't finish it, and I want to make something positive with this video. I want to show that, even though this is my personal journey with my own things, and that everyone's journey with the sugar is completely different, that something definitely isn't good if you consume excessive amounts of something. In my case, it's sugar. So I wanted to put that out there. I wanted to, have this documented to just kind of be like a little kick in the ass for myself by saying that I can just be okay and still eat sugar, but not overeat. That's something, overeating, that, I've definitely struggled with, as I can see, and that I know personally that I've struggled with. So being able to look at it throughout those 4 days and to analyze everything that happened is a big light, big flashing light to me. So yeah, I really, really am glad that I did it. Even though I couldn't succeed in the end with that video, I'm able to make this. I'm able to go more in depth with everything and really evaluate myself. So thank you all for listening to this episode of Chit Chat, and I really cannot wait to bring you guys more. I'm extremely motivated to do my best with this show. It's something that's so easy for me to do, and it's something that I find really helpful for me to just talk and document things, and being able to just express. So thank you all so much, and I cannot wait to bring you so much more.